name is Agre Mulumbi. I'm Deputy Director of the Insurance Institute of Kenya.
My name is Marvin Sisei. I'm the Administration Manager for the Insurance Institute of Kenya. And the Insurance Institute of Kenya is the umbrella body for insurance professionals in the country.
It brings together all the professionals in the insurance industry, and the objective of this body is to keep the professionals alive, continuous development and continuous integrity in their practice.
The Insurance Institute core mandate is to enhance professionalism in the insurance industry. We take this mandate seriously and strive to maintain high standards for our professional members through training, facilitation of continued professional development of CPD, among others. We appreciate that the growth of the industry requires insurance professionals who are technically qualified in the core areas of underwriting, claims processing, marketing, information technology, and finance, among others.
One of the mandates of the Insurance Institute is to enhance professionalism amongst the insurance professionals. And one of the ways we do that is by holding events. So we hold luncheons, we hold dinners, and we hold seminars and conferences.
This conference is a major event in the calendar of events for the Insurance Institute. It happens once a year.
And it is basically the biggest event in the local insurance industry that outputs bringing all the insurance stakeholders together to be able to discuss the key agenda or the key topics within the insurance fraternity. We invite professional speakers from within and without the insurance industry, and from within and without our regional borders, such that we are able to get a mix of ideas on how to better improve insurance in Kenya and beyond.
And as you are aware, the key things concerning the industry today are to do with how do we sell ourselves, the industry image. And the other aspect of it is that the image of the insurance business has been battered, and this is arising out of corporate governance. That's why we brought the two subjects together for the delegates today.
Because we are coming from a place where insurance industry is really one of the industries you'd say it's not very heavily branded. One of the major things is the fears and misconceptions regarding insurance, that people really do not have sometimes the right information. We do not come out very clearly. We do not influence greatly the perception of insurance industry.
And true to the matter is that our brand and our name, our reputation as an insurance industry needs to be worked on, because as an industry we are selling a promise. We are individuals who depend on utmost good faith, and because of that it is important, even imperative, that we make sure that our promise is as good as our word, and that we are able to keep our promise, and that our reputation or how customers perceive us is in a position that is favorable to grow the brand. The other issue which we'll be discussing is corporate governance, and one of the ways that we believe is that first and foremost, making sure that we establish those systems of corporate governance, because at the end of the day, people want you to be economic winners without being economic cheaters.
And so it is important that with sufficient checks and controls, there are sufficient structures within the organization to check each and every decision that is being made.
The insurance industry as it speaks right now, the penetration is around 3%. As much as it looks paltry, it's way above our regional neighbors. However, I believe that there is a bigger opportunity for insurance. Globally, insurance and banking are almost at par in terms of the value of business. Our neighbors down in South Africa have a penetration rate of around 15%, and therefore I believe that with new innovativeness we can be able to improve the insurance penetration.
The objective was to present to them in these two subjects so that everybody lives with a new perspective of how to brand for the benefit of the industry, and the new corporate governance structures that are being proposed by the Commission of Insurance Regulatory Authority are then internalized and accepted, and the team here are predominantly the senior managers who are going to implement this.
On behalf of the Executive Council of the Insurance Institute of Kenya, I would like to welcome you all to the 35th Annual General Insurance Institute Conference. As you are aware, this is the most important event of the calendar of the Institute. The theme of this year's conference, as you've seen in your conference brochures, is branding and corporate governance, which are the keys to the growth of the insurance business. I now call upon the Director of the Insurance Institute of Kenya, Mr. Gabriel Karungu, to give his opening remarks, and thereafter invite the Commissioner of Insurance and CEO of IRA, Mr. Sami Makobe, to give his few remarks, and thereafter Sami will invite our chief guest, the Honorable Alhaj Nabi Ibrahim Bega, to give his keynote address to this conference. Gabriel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the IIK 26th Annual Conference. It is always a pleasure to have you here with us. And indeed, as a country, we feel delighted that you are here. Those of us who were with us last year in our annual conference, we discussed regional integration. And one of the decisions we came up with is that we needed to be able to establish an East African Institute of Federation where we can meet on a day like today and make it truly East African. As we all know, we now have the East African community in place, brings together Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda and Burundi. And indeed, we have sent out invitations to all these countries. I am happy to report that today we have our chief guest, who is the Commissioner of Insurance in Uganda. It's not by accident. Last year we had Mr. Kamsora here with us from Tanzania. So indeed, as IIK and together with the regional institutes, we will try and make sure that we can make that solution a reality, because that is the way to go. The Insurance Institute core mandate is to enhance professionalism in the insurance industry. We take this mandate seriously and strive to maintain high standards for our professional members through training, facilitation of continued professional development of CPD, among others. We appreciate that the growth of the industry requires insurance professionals who are technically qualified in the core areas of underwriting, claims processing, marketing, information technology, and finance, among others. This conference marks the climax of IIK's parade of events for the year 2011. It is no doubt that the industry is in a growth camp. However, to keep this growth momentum, it is important that the industry continually reflects on areas it needs to build on to promote growth. No more critical is such an area as corporate governance. The other key issue to note is our reputation as an industry. Insurance, as a contract based on acting good faith, means that we have to promote the highest standards of accountability to our customers, shareholders, regulators, and employees, among other key stakeholders. We therefore have invited various experts from vast knowledge as facilitators in this conference. These experts will guide us on how to attain world-class standards in corporate governance. And we truly hope that all of us will have something to take home by the end of the conference.
The business of today is to hear from experts, and in terms of the quality and the caliber of the speakers that we have, I think we are very fortunate because the speaker on our first paper, Catherine Ngahu, is going to speak to us about corporate branding as a strategy of growing the insurance business. I don't think you could have gotten a better speaker for this topic.
It's my great pleasure today to be able to speak to you today about branding. I'm very happy to be invited. The first thing I want to look at is some of the things that affect growth of insurance business. And I thought one of the major things is the fears and misconceptions regarding insurance, that people really do not have sometimes the right information. We do not maybe come out very clearly. So people have misconceptions, and one of the questions I asked is, this is based on a research we did in 2003, and the question sometimes we ask is, do these opinions still hold today? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And one of the things you see is the perceptions people have, especially about life insurance, which is one of the services that people tend to use to gauge insurance. What are the challenges in addressing the branding issue for such an industry? The other thing I think is that the way the industry has presented itself, insurance companies tend to direct people to the fears. When they want to influence you to buy insurance, there's too much focus on fears. And in life, people are not only focused on fears, they're actually also focused on what they value, what's important to them, what are their aspirations. And I think going forward, we need to start also adding the aspirations and minimizing the focus on fears. So what is the share of wallet? How can we grow the share of wallet for insurance? And one of the things we find is that life insurance is perceived to be expensive and also a luxury. Therefore, when things are difficult, when the economy experiences challenges, it's likely that insurance is one of the things that will be dropped. That's a time you're going to have lapsed policies. People will start buying, instead of comprehensive, required by law, third-party insurance. So because of the perception, and that is why we need branding to actually place key value in this service of insurance. When you look at the top advertising companies in Kenya, the kind of money they spend, they dominate the airwaves, they dominate all the types of media and actually wipe out all efforts made by many of the insurance companies trying to communicate. They actually occupy too much space in the mind of the consumer, in the various medias, and so it means for you to be heard and to be remembered, then you have to do something very outstanding. A brand carries a greater value, starting with associations that people hold about you. For example, organizational associations. When people think of your corporate name, which is now your corporate brand, what comes to mind? Is it the time when you are in the newspaper because you failed to pay an important person or a poor person, a struggling person, their claim? People, those things that they associate with your organization are part of your brand. In building brands, actually we say, first you build, you make your brand known. You get what we call mind share. The biggest brands have great mind share. Mind share is awareness. It's being recognized. It's being remembered. It's being known for certain things. It's for people, the customers, to know the things you want them to know about you. One of the great mistakes that people make in developing a brand is focusing on the attributes only. What you find when you focus on attributes, you all say the same thing. Then I cannot tell the difference between one insurance company and the next and the next. And so your brand becomes hazy and confusing because I don't know what do you stand for as opposed to what does the other one stand for. Because the problem with attributes, they can be copied. And I'm sure you all know in the insurance industry, every day you launch a new product, how many weeks does it take for your competitor to launch the same product? Yeah? 4 weeks. So if you can imagine, then that's not going to be the greatest value because products are about scope, about attributes and the like. But if your brand carried great value, even if you are the one who launched after the 4th week or the 8th week or the 10th month, you will still get the value associated with your brand. So what we say then is that you need to go beyond the attributes, because even the attributes that matter today or the products that matter today may change over time. The focus to the consumer is benefits, meanings, values, and associations. And that's why branding makes a difference. I put this to simply, you see the crowd, this is a generic community. How would you stand out if you belong there? And that's a question I have for you in insurance industry. Of the many insurance companies, how do you stand out among the others? Are you one of a kind, or are you viewed as a generic commodity? The way one of the speakers talked about how we used to buy unga in the past. Are you purchased as unga or as jogo or hostess? Or sugar or as Mumia's sugar? And commoditization, being a commodity is a major problem for a brand. If you are perceived as a commodity, it means your brand is weak. Building strong brands, some of the things you have to do, many people always think of it as advertising, and we say it's more than advertising, but advertising is critical. When you build a strong brand, you get strong mind share, strong share of mind. You get known, you get remembered, you get understood. What you stand for becomes consistent with what the customer thinks you stand for. What you want to be known as becomes consistent with what you are known as. Then you get share of heart. A good share of heart means you have strong emotional connection with the customer. How do you build your brand so that people have such strong emotional connection that actually they forgive you when you make a mistake the way they would forgive their brother, sister, or spouse? That is to have a powerful brand.